All right, part three of a 5-part video series. We're comparing the Tenjam Laylo Lounger, which are these two loungers right here, one without risers, one with risers. The Step 2 Vero Lounger with a deep water kit, and the Ledge Lounger Signature Chaise with their deep water kit. So we're gonna look at this. We're in 12-inch pool water depth today. So we brought both of these Tenjam Loungers with and without risers because both happen to work in this 12-inch pool depth. We're gonna show you today how to fill the products or put them into the pool. Let's start by putting the Tenjam Laylo Lounger in the pool. If I flip the Laylo over, you'll see there's a spot for me to hold the handle here on the side of it, or grab the side. Makes it easy to move it in and out of the pool. There's also air holes throughout the entire bottom of the lounger, including a porthole on the bottom of the footrest. The reason for that is because this lounger is unique that we can selectively add optional weights to the lounger to allow it to work in different water depths. So this lounger by Tenjam gives it the biggest, widest range of water depths because of the selective weights we can add to it. So here we go. We're gonna put this lounger by Tenjam into the pool. On this one, I like to hold the handle, put the footrest down. What we want is you can see how just fast that starts to fill. We want all the air that's in this lounger to move out of that footrest, come up through the backrest and release out of these holes. There is a hole at the top of the backrest. The reason for that is because we don't need to hold water all the way up into this backrest. So by having an air hole here, it allows the backrest to kind of like self-regulate how much it's filled. So we just do this. I can hear the air coming out of here, and I simply turn it over, and I put it where I want on the sun shelf. And you'll see this lounger, this Laylo Lounger, is rated to work up to 8-inch water depth without having to add weights to it. Now we're in 12-inch water depth here, so we do have to purchase coated lead weights. Now Tenjam sells these coated lead weights. They tested the coating in saltwater and chlorinated pools. There's other manufacturers of different weights you could put in it. As long as it fits through the porthole and you're comfortable using it in the pool, you can do that. But these are the ones Tenjam offers. It's a 4-pound weight. So I see here that the lounger isn't making contact on the front end with the bottom of the pool. So it's gonna look like it's drifting. So what we wanna do is, once we go through the step of filling it, we wanna reach down and drop that weight into that porthole. So after you do that, if you push down and you feel like there's still a little bit of room, you could leave it like that, or if it's drifting more, depends on your pool depth, the waves, you can just grab another weight, put it right in that same porthole, and now this thing is rock solid onto the bottom of the pool. So it's gonna prevent it from drifting. So that's how easy it is to fill the Tenjam Laylo Lounger. In video 4, we're gonna show you how easy it is to take them out of the pool. Now we have the Laylo with the optional 4-inch risers. What the risers do is they just move the seat height, or the product height, up by 4 inches. Tenjam's also looking to launch an 8-inch riser. Now with the 4-inch riser and using selective weights, you can get this thing to work all the way up to 18 inches. Once an 8-inch riser is added, and you can add weights to it, all the way up to 22 inches. By far the biggest range of a lounger available. Now with this, if I turn it over, you'll see the risers are connected to the product. So I can move this product, go through the same steps to fill it, just put it down in the water, easily pull it back onto the shelves. If you need to add weight, you can still do it through the porthole or into the backrest, but super simple to take this in and out. So I'm just gonna move this one aside. So now we have the Step 2 Vero Lounger. And this lounger has a separate riser kit. So this lounger works up to 9-inch water depth. There is an 18-pound sand-filled compartment that we had to fill and screw into the bottom of the lounger. Just fell out. I can't even believe that happened. You can see the screws just like stripped right out of there. That allows this lounger to work up to 9-inch water depth. Then, if you want it to work higher than 9-inch water depth, all the way up to 15-inch water depth, you purchase this riser, okay? So this is by Step 2. On the bottom of the riser are 4 holes. There's also some holes on top of these grooves here. So we're gonna start by filling this, and just gonna push it down. Now, the water in the Tenjam Lounger that we just filled, the holes, there's multiple holes, there's big holes. holes on the top, so it just allows all that water and air to move through a lot quicker. Also, when that product by Tenjam is in the water and filled, the chlorinated or treated pool water can constantly recycle through the Tenjam Lounger a lot easier, and that prevents the algae growth. Now, anything can grow algae inside, but it's going to help having more water circulating through it. So I'm going to keep pushing this down. Now, this thing by itself doesn't have any weight to it. We just want to make sure we're getting all the air out of it, so it doesn't act as like flotation, any more flotation than what we need. So just position it, give it a little movement, and just make sure all that air bubbles out of it. So that's the riser. Now we got to grab the lounger by step 2. So here we go. Now, to note, there's 2 little open air holes on the top of this section here. There's an open air hole on the backrest portion of this as well, and there's just a few holes on the bottom of it. So we'll start by pushing the nose of this into the water. Another thing to note on this one is there are no air holes between the footrest piece and the backrest piece. So right now the air that's coming out of it is just filling this portion itself. It's not filling the backrest at all yet. I'll just continue to submerge this thing. I can feel the air coming out of this top backrest hole. So just like with the Tenjam Laylo Lounger, we do just kind of have to submerge it. Just with the Tenjam product, not nearly as long. And all right, it still wants to float quite a bit. I can see there's an air hole here, but not up here. So this area in here is trapping air on me. Try to put it in a direction where we might be able to get the bubbles out of there. All right. So now we get this here, and note that this thing is just kind of moving around on me, but I've got to get this lounger on top of this riser, but you don't want to let all the water out of it. Try this again. All the water I put into it is now just coming out of it. My riser's turning. Thank God. I think we about got it. There we go. So that thing, here's how easy it is to put the step 2 in the water. This thing, again, goes up to 15-inch water depth, they say. This was put in 12-inch water depth. So I'm going to set that off to the side. Now, the front of it, I guess it moves a little bit. I feel like it's got that 18-pound sand weight under it, so it's going to feel fairly stable, but there's not an additional way to add like selective weights to it. That's it. So if it's floating a little bit, you're kind of like stuck with what you got. There's no way to add more. All right, now we're going to grab the Ledge Lounger Signature Chaise. All right, so again, this thing is separate from the riser. Ledge Lounger has these screw plugs on the bottom of the lounger that we have to take out with a flathead screwdriver. And we'll do that first. We're going to get this lounger close to the pool so I can grab it, get the riser, so that's ready to go. So again, that lounger works up to 9-inch water depth. This riser says on it for a 9 to 12-inch sun shelf. So we're going to put this in the pool. And it floats, so that's going to be interesting. Got the lounger. So with this lounger, the Signature Lounger by Ledge Lounger, you only have these 2 kind of air holes or screw plugs. So you want to submerge one of them, so then you can start getting water to start coming through that hole. And I can feel the air coming out of this hole as water comes into it. It just takes quite a while with 2 air holes. Once we fill this thing's about 30 pounds when it's empty. Ledge Lounger says once you fill it, it's 160 pounds. Now for this pool depth of 12 inches, Ledge Lounger makes a product the same thing as this with a big footrest on it called the Deep Signature Chaise. That thing weighs 270 pounds according to Ledge Lounger once it's full of water. Way too heavy for me to work with today. So I'm just going to keep submerging this. I can feel the air coming out of here as this thing's filling up. Now, note that this has these ridges all the way down the sides of it. See these air pockets that are getting trapped on these sides of the ridges? Once this thing's underwater, Ledge Lounger tells you to move it back and forth to try to get the bubbles out of it. And to be fair to Ledge Lounger today, I want to try to get all the bubbles out of it so we can, if it does float, it's not because I didn't get all the air out of it. You can see as you just kind of shake it, more bubbles keep kind of coming in and out. Don't fall off the sun shelf. Okay. I can still see bubbles coming out of this thing, so I'm going to keep working it just a little longer. Okay. I'm going to call that good. And grab these screw plugs, submerge it so you don't get air find its way back in there, and then get those threaded in. I can tell I'm cross-threaded. 1 second. Okay, there we go. So you can kind of screw it in pretty far with your fingers. These are pretty sharp threads, so you can try to get the air out of there. Get that in. And now the last little bit, you have your flathead screwdriver and tighten that down. Now, with this Ledge Lounger product, in fact, all the Ledge Lounger products that I know of, they've got this screw plug system. So you're putting water inside the products. Now that's chlorinated pool water, but they tell you like every so often, like every month or sooner, you need to empty this water out. Eventually it starts growing algae inside of it, and if you don't empty it out, it gets pretty nasty. In fact, they say don't even empty that water back into the pool. You got to take that water and empty it somewhere else and then refill it. But now we have this thing full. Again, the Ledge Lounger spec says this is 160 pounds. I can tell it's full. And now I got to get it on this riser that has super sharp points on the top of it. The riser floats, and this lounger is 160 pounds. So got to step on it maybe. Not on it. Okay. There we go. So now I've got the butt of the lounger on the riser. And let's go check the front of it. The front of this thing is that high off the bottom of the pool. You can watch me push this down. Okay? So this thing in your pool on this riser is just going to constantly look like it's drifting. All right? All right, so we have all three in the water. You can kind of just see how they line up. The Ledge Lounger, I didn't point this out in previous videos, it does not have a drain hole in the seat. So if you're in water depth that's less than this, you could definitely capture water in the seat, and you'll see kind of like a calcium line over time build up around that. In fact, all these loungers are prone to that, so you do need to make sure you're managing scale and calcium with pool chemistry. If you look at how these sit, so you got the step 2, you have 2 selections for it. It's either that lounger on the floor, works up to 9-inch water depth. You can add the deep water kit. Again, that gets you up to 15-inch water depth. There's nothing selective in between that. With the Ledge Lounger, we decided to go with the Ledge Lounger, Laylo Lounger without risers. So that lounger, the seat hole is at 6 inches off the bottom of the pool, 12-inch pool depth. So we have 6 inches in the seat, and you can see the water is right up to the kind of the top of the leg rest. On that Laylo Lounger, we did add 2 coated lead weights, 4-pound weights, into the front of that to fully submerge the leg rest. Now, that lounger is also set up to where you could add the 4-inch risers. That's an option. That would lift it up to be similar height to what you see here with the Step 2 product, and you wouldn't have to deal with any weights in a 12-inch water depth. But Tenjam gives you that flexibility with the optional weights in that lounger to really dial it up or down. And once they come out with an 8-inch riser, boy, it's going to hit a huge range all the way up to 22-inch pool depths. This Ledge Lounger, back to this one, works in 9-inch pool water depth without this riser. We put it on the riser that's supposed to work up to 12-inch pool depth, and we just see this thing is still floating. I just find that really unacceptable for this price range. This is the highest priced product in the pool. With the riser, we're looking at price point just over $1,000. The Tenjam product, the way that's set up with weights, you're looking at price points just under $700. And with the Step 2, with that deep water kit, you're looking at price points in the low 400s. So Step 2 is by far the low price leader, but you can also see low quality leader, fit and finish, metal in the pool. It was really a challenge to kind of get that thing in and on top of that riser, as was Ledge Lounger. Tenjam's was just super simple. I filled it, put it there, added a couple weights, and bingo, I'm good to go. If I had the risers on it, could have done that same really quick, like 30-second fill, put it on the shelf, no weights, and been good to go. So let's move to number 4 video out of this 5-part series. And in the 4th video, we're going to look at how to empty the products and remove them from the pool.